What's up, guys? I'm Josh Mosiman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 220, presented by O'Neill Racing. I'm a little bit sore right now. We just did some off-road racing and I had a big one this past weekend. Fortunately, every time I crash now, it's always on video. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, we had some fun at Glen Helen Raceway this past weekend. But in this video, we're going to talk what happened at the Daytona Supercross. We're going to preview what's coming up at the Indianapolis East-West Showdown this weekend, and we're going to dive into what we were up to this past weekend. Let's get into it. Starting things off with Daytona and the 450 class, congratulations to Ken Roczen and the entire HEP Suzuki team. So cool to see another Suzuki on top of the podium. Ken Roczen continues to impress on that bike, and he did it once again at the Daytona Supercross. First time for him at the Daytona Supercross, and of course that was a big story this weekend with Jet Lawrence, last year's winner, out, and Eli Tomac, the 7-time winner of the Daytona Supercross, not racing. It was all up for grabs this weekend, and it's pretty cool to see Ken Roczen get it done and just inch his way back up into this championship, and also just put a stamp of approval on how he's been riding. He Cooper webbed Cooper Webb. He dove up the inside of Cooper. He didn't really dive up the inside. He squared him up and then snuck by on the inside, and really was impressive. And then obviously Cooper had a mistake. He stalled the bike later in the race, and that helped Ken Roczen grab that gap and continue to pull away. But for Ken to hold on and get that win, so cool to see. So cool for the HEP Suzuki team. Also cool for Mark Johnson of REP Suspension to get his first win, with REP being a private company. Of course, Mark has worked for WP. He's won championships with the factory Red Bull KTM team, but for him, having his logos on top of the podium, really cool for that program. And he's also a contributor to Motocross Action every month. So if you read and subscribe to Motocross Action magazine, you can read articles from Mark Johnson in there every month talking about suspension, and I'm learning literally every month about suspension thanks to Mark. So congratulations to those guys. This is now 10 seasons that Ken Roczen has gotten a win in the 450 class. He's got 23 wins in Supercross total. Pretty impressive for Ken Roczen, so really cool for him. He's also got 76 total podiums, and he's only the 7th rider to have 100 or more top 5 finishes. So of course, shout out to Ben Bridges for helping us out with the stats. Really cool to see Aaron Plessinger get his first podium of the season. Of course, Cooper Webb was up there again in second. Justin Cooper also gaining momentum, continued to build as the season goes on. He snuck by Chase Sexton at the end of the race to get 4th. Now, I'm really surprised. Chase obviously had that hard crash in the heat race, and it seems like the effects of that must have been lingering late in the main event. He actually passed into a podium position, but then got passed back by Webb, got passed back by Aaron Plessinger, and also by Justin Cooper at the end of the race. So Chase Sexton, it's been a little bit of a rough go for him. He's now dropped back a couple points in the championship. Cooper Webb has a 10-point gap on Chase Sexton, and he has a 16-point gap on Ken Roczen in the standings. So things are widening out a little bit, but we still have a lot of racing to go in the 450 class. Of course, the 250 class was full of highs and lows. Of course, the low was Levi Kitchen. Such a bummer to see him go down. He came into the race 9 points back off of Max Anstey in the championship, slowly gaining points at round 2 with that win, and then he was making up points if he just would have finished where he was on Max Anstey, but unfortunately had that big crash. A lot of riders got kicked forward off of that jump. A lot of riders were making mistakes there. It was a very scary jump to watch, but Levi was unfortunately the only rider to go down hard off of it, and broke a collarbone, and also said he broke a couple vertebrae in his upper back. So hopefully smooth recovery for Levi Kitchen. Heartbreaking to see him go out and to see a 3rd red flag in just 3 races of this 250 East Coast Championship, not even counting the heat race. So technically 4 red flags to the start of the East Coast Championship. So tough break for those guys. This time the red flag did help out Max Anstey though, because he went down off of the start, and that red flag bunched up the pack, helped him jump up the ladder and make up some points and make up some positions in that 250 main event. But everybody's excited for RJ Hampshire getting Husqvarna their first 250 main event win at Daytona. It was also RJ's first time on the podium at Daytona, and he did it with a win. So pretty cool for another Florida native to get a win in Florida. RJ Hampshire also had a rocky start to the season. Tom Vial had a tough start to the season. To see them both up front was good for those two champions from last year. Also glad for Seth Hammaker to get up on the podium as well. He's been riding great. One thing I wanted to point out though was Carson Mumford. He got penalized for going off the track. I'm definitely bummed for him on this. For a privateer guy, not a full privateer, he rides for the Quad Lock Honda team, but for him to to finish 7th place in the main event. It was an awesome finish for him, but unfortunately on paper it was bumped back to 11th after he got docked 4 positions for going off the track on the start. So kind of hard to tell what he was supposed to do. He dodged Max Anstey to go around him, not run over him on the start, and then unfortunately got on the track and lost all those positions once the checkered flag flew. So 250 East Coast Championship is definitely exciting, and we're coming into a 250 East-West showdown this weekend in Indianapolis. Max Anstey now has a 6-point lead over Tom Vial. Max has a 13-point lead over Chance Hymas, and he has 14 points over RJ Hampshire in this championship. So things have tightened up a lot in that one, but also they're going to have the West Coast riders this weekend. Indianapolis is known for it being a rutted and challenging track, and it's definitely going to be the most rutted track that the West Coast riders have seen so far, and even for the East Coast riders, it'll be rutted for them too. So West Coast Championship point standings, of course, Hayden Deegan took over the points lead at the Arlington Supercross. He has a 6-point gap over Julian Beaumer and a 22-point gap over Cole Davies, with 23 points ahead of Joe Shimoda in the championship. So him and Beaumer are at the front, and they got a little buffer on the rest of the pack after, unfortunately, Jordan Smith went down at the Arlington Supercross. He was only 2 points out of the championship behind Julian Beaumer coming into Texas, but he went down in the whoop section, punctured a lung, broke 4 ribs, and also got a small laceration in his spleen. So bummed for the Triumph rider. He won't be on the track this weekend at Indianapolis. Looking more at Indianapolis, last year this was a race where Jet Lawrence went 1-1-1 at a Triple Crown in Indianapolis. Ken Roczen, though, he did well there last year with a 2-2-3, giving him 2nd overall. And Ken Roczen also won at this race in 2023, putting the Suzuki 450 on top of the podium for a first time in a long time. That's where we got that iconic Ken Roczen with the Kickstarter photo and on top of the podium. So Ken got a win at Daytona. He's going back to a place where he's had 2 good years in a row. Of course, like I said, it's a very rutted and technical track. This year we have a pretty long start with the left-handed turn and then a straightaway with a single in it after the start. So does give the riders a little more time to spread out before they jump into a rhythm section. Long sweeping sand corner with some rollers in it. That of course will shake things up. And then we have a whoop section with a roller before it. But they've been changing up the track maps this year. If you guys remember at the Arlington Supercross, they were supposed to have a triple into the whoops, but then they flipped it. They put the whoops first and the triple after it. So they're not wanting to put a lot of obstacles before a whoop section. So this one, they have a single coming into the whoops. We'll see, it probably will get pretty rolled over. So of course, MXA Fantasy League is on for this weekend. We got to say thank you to Wiseco for sponsoring the MXA Fantasy League app. Get on there. It's free to download the app, free to play, thanks to Onyx Off-Road. You can also get a 20% discount to Onyx Off-Road with MXA 20 on their app to get all kinds of maps for off-road riding with your truck, UTV, or dirt bike. And of course, we're also doing the KTM Junior Fantasy League app presented by the Ford Lightning F-150 truck. And Motion Pro is giving away a $500 shopping spree to their website. They got the best tire pressure gauges and just the coolest gadgets really in the pits. Motion Pro takes care of a lot of the top factory mechanics, and you can get your toolbox dialed in thanks to Motion Pro. It's free to download the KTM Junior Fantasy League app as well, and free to play. So lots of cool stuff to win this weekend. Wiseco Piston, they're sponsoring the MXA Fantasy League app. They're giving you a piston kit for your 2-stroke or 4-stroke this weekend at Indianapolis. Also gotta let you know, we just posted our 2025 Husqvarna FC 450 Rockstar Edition video where we tested it. Sean Bushnell and myself jumped on that bike. Sean's been riding our stock FC 450 quite a bit, and he compared the stock bike to the factory edition. Check that video out on our YouTube channel. So now let's get into this past weekend of racing with the MXA Wrecking Crew. We had a big crew out at Glen Helen for the NGPC off-road race. The weather was perfect. We got some rain. We got to hit the trails. We got to hit the rocks. We got to hit the tracks. We got to hit the ridges, and it was a lot of fun. I brought out our YZ 450F. We got the IMS big tank on there with the quick fill cap. Also, Nick Bayer of Bayer Concepts, he designed a new quick fill cap cover that replaces the front of the Yamaha seat. So it's a push button, take it on and off. This actually solves the problem that I had at Lake Havasu last year, where my the front of my seat popped off, and then the airbox cover popped off, and I had to pull off and kind of mess up the whole race. So thanks to Nick for helping me out with that. This weekend was a lot of fun to watch all of the homies riding and racing, and we had some challenging parts. Let's head there now.
What's up?
Some really fast laps as they try to get. Cole Zeller tried to get off the schneid, had a bad experience last year.
Dog?
Just cutting the course, trying to see what the trees look like. Found them.
Show us your mouth. Nice.
Just feels like a fat lip.
Girls pay money for that.
That's 2 weekends in a row. Bleeding for the sport.
Jeez,
Hard
Louise.
interested. Now they're not.
Yeah. Blood on your jersey. Matches the gear at least.
Yeah, it's okay. Might not come out.
They got sticks in the... 2 sticks. Yeah. You beat Josh.
Yeah, by default, he was widening the course for you guys. You drop off the pavement, and it's got this big old kicker of like wore out concrete. And then as soon as I jumped off the top, I'm like, whoa, there's an orange helmet. Oh, that's my guy Josh.
Yeah. Was he all right?
Yeah, he looked all right. He was moving.
Nice.
But I definitely wasn't ready to suffer for the moto like that. I had a pretty good start, and I came in too hot to one of the banks on the first lap and up and overrode it, hit the brakes and fell over. So that didn't help me, and then I had to follow a bunch of dudes, and it takes a little while to get used to mooses in the front.
Yeah.
I'm pretty picky, so they worked well. I'm just not used to them.
Nice.
I kept trying to oversteer, and yeah, it was fun. Track's awesome.
Good times. How was it?
Brutal.
Yeah?
You need a little bit more prep for it.
How's the hand? A little blood on the grips?
The red goes with the red.
What'd you ride?
I rode 25 plus expert.
Nice.
And I don't think I did very well, but went down like 3 times, and
Nice.
I couldn't really do the hills that well, but the track was good.
Nice.
So, MXA, we're out here. I'm Ashley's selling bread. We're pretty much sold out for now. And for now, as in for now for today, we have what? How many loaves left? 4 loaves left, 2 scones. And we came with how many loaves?
Like 54?
54 loaves we showed up with. And Miguel, he just got off the track with Sim Cox, and he's working on the California Smash Burger. So California Smash Burger right here. So Miguel is selling burgers and racing. We're selling bread and racing. How was your moto?
It was fun. It was good. Oh, I got to talk in this. Sorry. It was fun. Got the whole shot. Did I look at you or look there?
It doesn't matter.
Got the whole shot. Led for a little bit, and then 2 guys went by me, and 3 guys went by me, but then they went down. So I don't know how I finished.
Nice.
I have no idea.
Good times. We're off-roading this weekend. Running down, how was it?
Dude, it was incredible. It was such a fun race. Somewhat missed my gate, but still was able to pull the whole shot and just had a ton of fun. This race series is just such a fun time, and it's such a good mixture of moto and trails and good competition, good people. So it was a good time. Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
So overall, it was a fun weekend of racing at Glen Helen. Obviously, I had a big crash. We posted it on Instagram already. Man, so much that goes into this. I really wasn't feeling my best, and I knew that coming into the weekend. I rode practice on Friday. I wasn't as comfortable as I expected to be, and my wife, she was baking bread and selling bread at the races. I stayed up late with her till midnight Friday night, till midnight Saturday night, and I told her on Sunday morning that I stayed up late to give myself an excuse for why I don't do good on Sunday, and that's just not a good idea. You should never try to sabotage your own racing, but I did. I should have taken a smarter route and just told everybody, hey, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to be at my best today, and just go out there and have fun and take it easy. But instead, I tried to push, went launching a little too far off this blind roller and down a cliff. A lot of other riders I've heard have done the same thing off this jump. It's a technical, kind of goofy one at Glen Helen. It's blind, and then it just hooks right afterwards. Glad I'm okay. A little bit sore, but this coming up weekend, we're going to be racing at Mesquite, the Verb 500 at Mesquite. We're excited for it. It's 8 hours and 20 minutes of racing. I'll be teamed up with Sean Bushnell, Josh Fout, and we're trying to get Stapo to come out, and I think he'll make it. But either way, we'll have either a 3 or 4 man MXA team. We're excited to go racing this weekend. So if you guys are going out there, be sure to stop by and say what's up. I'll still be a little sore probably, but we'll be good to go. Thank you guys for watching this week in MXA. Thank you to O'Neill for sponsoring these videos, allowing us to do cool stuff and share it with the world. See you guys in the next video.